Hello, my name is Jack, and please introduce yourself and your film.
Hi, my name is Stephen Latsfield, and I'm the writer and director of Mr. Average.
I'm Daniel Fox, and I'm production manager, Mr. Average.
Nice. Okay. Do you have any favourite shots or sequences that you did in the film?
Do you know what? I'm actually quite proud of the shots when they raw. I think that's a lot to do with our lead actor as well, Neil James, and he kind of lets out this kind of raw and he turns around. And we've got the dead people in the road, including Daniel, who's one of the dead ex-boyfriends. So that shot I was really quite happy with. And I think also a lot of it's to do with the actors. They kind of really put a lot into it. The makeup, but they look terrifying. I think Sarah, who was obviously on the sofa, kind of looking at these kind of dead people, I think she was quite genuinely freaked out. Yeah. So that's one bit I'm quite proud of.
Do you have any?
I think that scene was the most fun, definitely. Being a ghost and exerting my anger towards the character that killed me. Plus, we did some scenes in the pub, quite a nice pub as well.
Nice. Were there any influences or inspirations for your film?
Ooh, do you know what? I think it's probably my dating history, if I'm being honest with you. Because
that's an amazing topic for horror.
It is. I think I've been on lots of dates, and sometimes when you've been on a date and you think, this is a bit familiar about the date I've just been on. So that's essentially my inspiration for it. But yeah, I love horror, I love fantasy. I like things with a kind of a bit of a sense of humour to them as well, kind of that kind of slightly lighter horror as well. So yeah, I guess that was kind of my inspiration.
Do you have any inspirations or something that you kind of took from that?
Well, Stephen's the brain behind the operation, so he just tells me what to do. But yeah, so the inspiration is Stephen, obviously.
So this is a very creepy horror film. What fears do you have?
Spiders. Obviously, there's no spiders in Mr. Average.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I guess I can't stand spiders. I'm trying to think what other fears as well. I don't know. Sharks? Or well, would you actually go in a shark cage? Randomly?
Yeah.
Face your fears. That's what we're going to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you have any fears?
Well, I didn't before this film. Now I'm worried about going on dates. But other than that, pigeons. I'm not open to any pigeons.
I actually have a fear. I think it was this article I read that was like Elon Musk. He had like these brain chips, and he was like testing them on like monkeys. So he was making them do like really weird stuff, and this like monkey tennis. It was weird.
That is a horror movie.
Weird. Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, 100%. AI monkeys. I mean, that's done deal. Danny Boyle.
Yeah. What is your favourite thing about scaring an audience?
I think it's hopefully creating an atmosphere as well, an atmosphere of kind of almost stage fear as well, so people can be safe. I don't particularly like gross out films. I've got to admit, if anything's too kind of squishy or too kind of body horror, that kind of turns me off. It's just not my bag. Mm-hmm. So I guess I try and recreate kind of that safe space of fear that I quite enjoy as a viewer. So with Mr. Average, I try to create that as well. It's hopefully creepy, but it's nothing too violent or hopefully nothing too nasty.
Yeah. Do you have any underrated horror films?
Underrated?
That you feel like people don't talk about enough?
Do you know what? There's one actually recently that didn't do terribly well at the box office, and it was The Bone Temple.
I love that.
It was so good, and I think it kind of disappeared without a trace, which is a real shame because it's incredibly well made, really good concept, amazing writer, Alex Garland behind that as well. Yeah. So I'd say that's a really, it shouldn't be underrated. That should have been out there with the box office. Trying to think what other horrors. Jaws 2. No one ever talks about Jaws 2, but actually I'd say it's actually almost on the par with Jaws 1.
Wow.
Just with the kills and stuff, the shark coming towards the boat and stuff in certain stages. It's a very good film.
Do you have any underrated horror films?
I can't think of any right now. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Do we have any questions from the audience?
I have a question.
One sec.
I couldn't resist asking this. He asked you where did you get your inspiration from? And you said it was like a date or dates that you've been on.
Yes.
So the question is this film based on a true story?
Not quite. Although, I guess when you've been on a date and you kind of perhaps there's that kind of sense of familiarity. So you're thinking, have I dated this person before? Essentially as well. So it's that kind of sense of familiarity. But yeah, if it was based on a true story, I think if I was Sarah's character, I don't think I'd be here right now. I think I'd be locked up in either a mental asylum or prison, essentially. So thankfully, not entirely based on a true story.
Another question.
Hiya, Steve here. Good film, right? Nice story, nice little twist, I like that. I always am interested in like, a little bit of financing and that behind movies, and obviously the sets and where all the main costs go. And I'm guessing that obviously because you had a few sort of essays there that do lead almost doing their part, that obviously some of the costs must have gone on that. I'm presuming it ain't all family doing it free of charge. And looking at the sets, you already had an house. I'm guessing that might have been one of yours. I'm just intrigued how. I don't want you to spill all the beans on your financial. I would look at your bank account, but I'm just, as a filmmaker myself, always looking at ways of saving money, and I was just looking at how many sets you used and where the main costs may have lied, and if you had problems, or did you indeed have a financial background and you was lucky in that area, in which case can I just fund them?
Thank you. Do you know what, in absolute honesty, it didn't cost really that much to make. The lead actress, Sarah, we actually shot at her house, and it was her husband who was one of the dead men. So she just had to kind of almost feminise the entire house. So if there's anything kind of hanging up which was kind of remotely, Sarah-ish, she had to kind of get rid of it to make it look like it could be this kind of guy's house or flat, essentially. And if I'm being super honest, the supporting artists and the crew who were paid in chocolate, it's all self-funded. People kind of do it for the love of it and the joy of it as well. So there wasn't much money going around. It was essentially people wanted to take part. They were quite excited by it. And then, we literally just paid them an M&S chocolate, essentially. And then obviously some of the costs go into film festivals, kind of getting out there as well, but generally it's pretty low budget, yeah.
Anyone else? I did have a question, if no one else had one. Sorry. What was your most favourite shot, and also the most difficult shot? And how did you overcome it, if you had a challenge on that?
So I'd say one of the most difficult shots was the guy in the garden when it's kind of snowing was actually me. So it started snowing when I was in the house, and I thought, hang on, this could be really quite good. So when I saw it snowed, so I went outside and I set up the camera, and I literally kind of ran outside and filmed myself just standing there. I think where it was a bit of a challenge was there's a building site next door, so some of the scaffolding the builders were out there, and they could see myself just standing in the garden, just staring at my house like this. So I think they must have thought what an absolute weirdo lived next door. That was the most challenging shot, essentially, to try and get that in there. But I'm glad I did, because it snowed. If it's going to snow, you just film it because it was good.
And your favourite scene from the film?
I think it probably was the guys at the end as well, when they all come together. I think it's a mixture of kind of performance and just, I was really happy with Neil and Sarah and all the actors, including Daniel as well, who kind of essentially screams and just get to the role, really. So I think that's the scene probably most happy with, I'd say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Pop your hand up. Yep, 1 second.
So, it didn't really show whether the dose made her drink the poison, or if she drank the poison out of guilt in the end. I was trying to work out whether it was the dose making her, or it was it guilt.
Got you. I think it's a good question, actually. I think essentially it was that she had nowhere else to go. So she'd been cornered, always kind of dead people staring at her. I think she had no other choice but to get out. And she was probably quite a miserable soul anyway. I mean, if you've got to get kicks from killing your boyfriends, you've got to be a little bit of a loser. It's essentially. So, good question.
Okay, last question, anyone?
Yeah.
No? Over to you, Jack.
Sure. And there's one.
Oh, one more? Sorry, 1 second. Hang on.
Okay.
Yourself.
Who was the girl in that Yeah.
Yeah, I know, like.
In the US,
Yeah, the lead actress Sarah. Yeah, so the one who played Carly. So that's a fantastic actress, a good friend of mine called Sarah Coombs. She's been in quite a few of my films. She's a very talented actress. I met her actually at work, and I just realised as well that she had a background in theatre and drama, so we got to know each other, and she became involved in my films. And she's actually involved as well in a new film that's coming out quite soon called Home Help. So I knew she could deliver the goods, and she's a pleasure to work with. So yeah, Sarah Coombs. Google her.
Okay. What was the writing process of making a horror film like that? Where is your head at when you're writing something like this?
Sure. So for Mr. Average, it was actually in the middle of a hurricane in Florida when I was writing. So I was out there actually for a horror film festival, stuck in the middle of a hurricane. And so literally I was in this tower block, and it was all quite scary, tornado warnings all around me. And I suddenly thought, I'm just going to write something as a bit of a kind of, to take away the fear of it. So that's why within the film there's actually reference to the hurricane. She calls herself Hurricane Carly. And that's because literally when I was writing it on pen and paper in this kind of hotel room stuck in Orlando, there was literally a hurricane for real. Kind of, I think it was the big storm a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember then. So yeah. So that kind of impacted it a little bit, and that's why when they made the scream at the end and they kind of let out this kind of horrible scream, it was because essentially the wind was howling around the hotel room. And I was thinking, are we all going to die?
Wow. Okay. So can we all give a round of applause for Bob? All right. Thank